Hello everyone and welcome to Comic Support. I'm Leon Scorpius and today we are going over pull box updates for Marvel Comics April 2018. Want to once again thank Taymation Studios. We have Tay in the house, we have Sparky in the house, we have Kay. They're in our office today and we're going to go over our pull box updates for the month of April. Taymation Studios, we couldn't do this without them. They published these videos. If you'd like to support us and like this content, a like and subscribe is also appreciated. Also, if you'd like me to cover more than just Marvel Comics, the easy way to do that is go over to our Patreon page and help our comic book fund. Let's get started. There's a lot going on in the month of April. And we have some really exciting things. Again, I'm not going to go over every single comic and solicitation coming out in April for Marvel Comics. Just going to go over the ones that I read right now that I can provide some insight on, and also give you some jumping on points that make the most sense. The best way to support our local comic book stores right now is actually to participate in their pull boxes and buying comics, but it can be really weird of how you jump on and start. There's a lot of stories out there. We talked about how the MCU is different from the comic book continuity right now. So hopefully this episode will help trim that down for you so that you can pick the one or two comics that you're most interested in and that you feel like you can subscribe to. The first comic I want to talk about that's coming out in April is Infinity Countdown number 2. So we've had the Infinity Countdown going on for a while now. Jerry Dugan's been introducing some of those topics in his Guardians of the Galaxy series, and now the movie tie-in, I guess, is coming on in. It's not exact, they're two different stories, but if you're looking for the same type of story, this is great. The Infinity Stones are back into play, and in number 2, we're gonna finally find out what's happening with the Power Stone. So Drax has been protecting the Power Stone, which is size of like an enormous building, not just a small gem. And they're gonna find out who's gonna get the Power Stone. You got the Chitauri, got the Raptors, and they're going to duke it out for the Power Stone. So a really cool place. You probably can find issue number 1 on the shelves in your local comic book store. There was a fairly large run on that. And if not, you can always pick it up digitally and catch yourself up. The next item that I want to talk about is the Hunt for Wolverine. So, spoiler alert, Wolverine is back. There's I think 4 or 5 Wolverines in the comic book universe right now, but the original Wolverine is back into play. He had one of the Infinity Stones, and there is an entire series of Hunt for Wolverine comics that are coming out. Essentially, different teams are looking for Logan and figuring out a mystery. It seems like it's a rat race almost. You have one team that is the Defenders and Iron Man and Spider-Man. They're trying to find out. You have another team that's X-Men related. They're finding out. So it's not really an event, but if you're interested in Wolverine and his history, there's a lot there.
Why though?
Why though?
Why are they looking for Wolverine?
Because he has an Infinity Stone.
He had an Infinity Stone, and Wolverine has not made himself known that he's back. So I think some of the X-Men, and if you're reading the X-Men series, they see that Wolverine's out of his case. FYI, Wolverine died. The death of Wolverine happened a few years back where he was fully encased in adamantium. My guess is when the Infinity Stones came back, he had the Space Stone, which allows you to teleport. So I think he just teleported out of that thing. We'll see what the actual thing is, but that's my guess of what's happening. I'm definitely going to read them all. There's a lot of really cool stories about Wolverine, so I'm going to try to figure that out.
Just let him be. Just let him be on his own.
He's just so tired. He just needs
Just
time.
let him take a nap.
Before he died, he was in like everyone's comic, so you had Logan and everything. But yeah, Hunt for Wolverine, it's the jumping on point. There's going to be a bunch more comics following that, but this is the very first start. Charles Soule's been doing a great job as the writer on the X-Men series. He's also doing Astonishing XMen right now. My other question is, what are they going to do with the other Wolverines? You still have Old Man Logan, he's still hanging around. And then they brought Wolverine's son, Jimmy Hudson, into the universe, so he's around there too. Yeah, there's literally like 5 Wolverines.
Naps for everyone.
Too many Wolverines.
Naps for everyone. Let everyone
Freeze them in ice. Speaking of frozen in ice, Captain America number 700 comes out in April. If you're interested in finding out what's happening to Captain America, he actually is frozen in ice again, and this time he's going into the future. So I haven't been reading the Captain America series, but this would be a good jumping on point if you'd like to find out what's happening with Captain America in the future. I do also want to throw in that Captain America is being rebooted, and not rebooted like a whole new storyline, but there's a new team involved coming out the 4th of July. So I think that's a good jumping on point for Captain America story as well. You can wait till July for that storyline if you don't want to jump on here. Coming out in April, a good starting on point if you like really wacky time travel type of adventures, you have the Exiles, which features Blink. We've seen Blink in the X-Men movies. We've seen Blink in the television show right now that's
Which
happening.
television show?
It's a great, yeah, The Gifted.
There you
I
go.
keep forgetting what the title is for that. But Blink is in The Gifted, so they are bringing Blink back in the comic books. This time she has a team that it's really wacky. It's probably the reason why I'm not picking it up, because I just don't resonate with the team necessarily. It's kind of really weird. I really love the first Exiles way back in the day. Those were good. Saladin Ahmed's pretty solid though. He's a great writer with Javier Rodriguez as the artist. So there's a lot of potential, but the team is Blink. You have old woman Kamala Khan, I guess. You have Valkyrie from the MCU Thor Ragnarok movie. And you have a chibi cartoon Wolverine. Like literally like a chibi cartoon style Wolverine. Really wacky, really out there. You might be interested in it. I think Iron Lad's also in it as well, if you're wondering who the Iron Man character is in that one. That's Exiles. Domino #1 starts in April. If you're interested in Gail Simone's run of Domino, it's going to be a limited run. Probably out because of the Deadpool 2 movie coming out, and Domino's going to be a character there. But that's all I know of the book. But Domino is always a fun character. She's a mutant. She has luck powers. It's a lot of fun. So if you're looking for an adventure featuring Domino, pick it up in April. The next one is one that's close to my heart, but for the wrong reasons. So Doctor Strange Damnation is continuing. And spoiler alert, what happened in Secret Empire was Captain America was turned Hydra. And one of the things that Hydra Captain America did is he blew up the city of Las Vegas. It was probably one of the worst plot points I ever saw. It was literally not just some fake city in the middle of nowhere. It was literally the city of Las Vegas. Hydra just put a bunch of ships in and just, I don't know, bombed the whole city.
That's where we live.
And I was really like,
Killed everyone.
you just killed me. And I have no freaking idea how they were going to recover from it. Well, no surprise, Marvel's actually been spending a lot of time reverting everything back from post-Empire. And one of them is what's happening in Doctor Strange. So
He brings us back. We're good.
he does. And so what's happening right now in Doctor Strange and in Iron Fist and some of the other things is Doctor Strange now has his powers back. He's Sorcerer Supreme once again. Loki was Sorcerer Supreme for a couple issues, so if you're really interested in that run, take a look at that. Really, really interesting. But Donny Cates and Nick Spencer teaming up, and they're like, you know what, that was a bad idea. Yes, it was a bad idea. And they're bringing back Las Vegas. So they bring back Las Vegas, except there's a catch. There's always a catch, right? Magic always comes with a price. Mephisto is now also in Las Vegas, and he has a casino, and he's essentially stealing the souls of sinners. So anybody that's like robbing a bank or doing something like that, or fighting with one another, he's just stealing their souls. And so
Sounds like a win for us.
Good business for
it's a win for Mephisto. But the cool thing right now that if you go just a couple issues into the whole series, is they've actually turned the Avengers into Ghost Riders. So they all have Ghost Rider flaming skulls right now. And it's a really fun action adventure type of thing right now in the city of Las Vegas. So, while I hate supporting the Secret Empire story type of stuff, I think they're redeeming themselves with this storyline. So I'm really interested to see what happens. And, our city's back. Yay! Woo! That's always good. Avengers No Surrender, still going on. Again, this is a 20-some issue run. It's really the swan song. You had 3 different Avengers comics. You had the Avengers, you had USA Avengers, you had Uncanny Avengers, And I think they did something really smart here. They basically brought all of those writers and artists together and said, we're just going to make a huge Avengers run. We know that we're going to restart, so this is their swan song. It's the time you get to see all these teams together. I read Uncanny Avengers with Rogue, because Rogue's the leader of the Uncanny Avengers. Super cool comic. It's obviously doesn't seem like it's moving forward once they restart in May. But you get to see Rogue one last time as a leader of the Avengers, along with the USA Avengers and, of course, the new Avengers with Falcon and Thor, etc. The Grandmaster is fighting a challenger, and of course they use Earth as their board to play this game on. The Avengers are pawns. But it's a really cool storyline, and it comes out every week. You get an Avengers comic every week, so I think it was really smart. Instead of having to wait 2 weeks, if you love Avengers, you can go in the comic book store and pick up a comic. A good jumping on point if you like a different type of Avengers storyline is actually the Champions. Writer Jim Zub is taking on the Champions in Champions number 19. So you've got Miss Marvel, you got Amadeus Cho Hulk. You're actually getting Ironheart now. She's joining the team. And this is essentially the group of young Avengers that said, hey, old Avengers, you're doing everything wrong. We're going to start our own little team and clean up after everything that you do. So good jumping on point if you really like it. I've been reading the Champions. It's also, if you've been reading the Champions and you're looking for a way to save money, it could be a good jumping off point, as well as the storyline's finally ending and you're going on to new stuff. If you love Venom, Venomized is coming out. It's another limited series by Cullen Bunn. It's one of 5 that's coming out. It's also going to come out pretty regularly, so about every 2 weeks you'll probably get one of these. If you like the Venomverse storyline that came out last year, where they introduced the poisons, and the poisons essentially can eat the symbiote and creates this crazy monster character. They're finally going to wrap up this story, which is great, because sometimes they introduce new species and they just don't know what to do with it and it just lives in the universe. So they're actually going to bring it back. The poisons are now coming to Earth. They're after the symbiotes. And Cullen Bunn hopefully gets to wrap up his story with a nice little bow. So really excited about that. I'll probably pick it up. Venomized, if you love the Venom stories. Also coming up is Mighty Thor 706. So this is the last of the Mighty Thor before they bring it up to the brand new reboots. Jason Aaron is taking over both the Avengers and the Thor series in May. But if you are finishing up the Mighty Thor storyline with Jane Foster, this will be the last issue there. So could be some really good stuff in there. Might be worth picking up. Amazing Spider-Man. This is also the final run for writer Dan Slott. He's been writing Amazing Spider-Man for years. All of the Amazing Spider-Man I've read for the last few years has all been Dan Slott. He's done a great run. This is his swan song on the Amazing Spider-Man before he moves on to Tony Stark Iron Man. So Dan Slott will have his opportunity there. I think it's perfect because Spider-Man was just in charge of Parker Industries and became this rich, dude that was making a lot of money selling his webware. So it was almost like an audition, I felt, for him to be able to write Tony Stark Iron Man. So I'm really excited to see what happens with Dan Slott. But Norman Osborn's back. He's causing trouble. The Red Goblin is a really cool idea for a new villain. So looking forward to seeing that wrap up. It's still a couple issues of the Amazing Spider-Man left with Dan Slott. Next title I have is Tales of Suspense. It's wrapping up as well by writer Matthew Rosenberg. He's been an incredible new writer at Marvel and doing a great job there. It is Hawkeye, it is Winter Soldier, and they're trying to find what happened to Black Widow. So it's kind of this bro action adventure, and they're going out to find what happened to Natasha. Really just heartwarming because, again, you have these two characters that have a long history with Black Widow, and they're trying to figure it out. And this will be the last 2 issues. I think issue 4 and issue 5 are coming out. We've got Marvel Rising. If you like Squirrel Girl, if you like America, if you like Miss Marvel, they are bringing a new initiative called Marvel Rising. You'll see it on TV, you'll see it in comics, and it'll feature some of these new up-and-coming characters in Marvel Comics. Next, I want to talk about New Mutants. So New Mutants, a limited run also by writer Matthew Rosenberg. You are having the New Mutants movie coming out soon. It's kind of dark, but you've got Magic, Richter, a lot of the New Mutant characters back together again And this comic, I didn't think I was gonna pick it up. I picked it up last week, and it is part Scooby-Doo, parts Walking Dead. It was crazy. It's a group of our favorite mutants, and they're solving mysteries. Just really refreshing, and it's almost like every issue has a mystery, so be sure to pick that up if you're really interested in what's happening in New Mutants. And again, it's probably a partial tie-in to the movie that's coming out. Again, not tie-in and like it's going to be related, but it gives you some exposure to the characters.
Are the mysteries totally dudes in ghost masks?
So in issue 1, they weren't dudes in ghost masks. It was essentially a disaster happened in a city in the US. That's happening all the time. Flood, earthquake, whatever that happens to be. So that goes on, and they find out that there was a witch that was killed on that, and somebody like stole her jewelry, and so she was bringing back everybody to the dead. So it was really pretty crazy interesting. So actual magic was happening, not a dude in a mask. But hey, that's Matthew Rosenberg's take on Scooby-Doo. The X-Men series, I'm big with X-Men right now. You've got 3. You have X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, and X-Men Red. In X-Men Gold, the X-Men are in jail right now, but it's all leading to Kitty and Colossus's wedding, so that's pretty exciting. If you like X-Men Gold, X-Men Blue, you have Magneto and Polaris, and they are going up against some big hitters. Havoc, who's been evil for the last few years. You got Emma Frost, who is now back on the bad guy side. So they're just gonna have a really big mix-up, and we're gonna see what happens with that team in X-Men Blue. X-Men Red, Jean Grey is back alive. If you haven't read Phoenix Resurrection, she has her own team, and she's trying to make the world a better place. So
She's not Beth Scott, is she?
she's not. Cyclops has been dead for a while. So
are the X-Men in jail because of the bachelorette or bachelor party for that wedding?
no, the wedding hasn't happened yet. The wedding's gonna happen this summer.
Yeah.
The Bachelor
Bachelorette.
party.
They're in jail because Mesmero messed them up in the head, and they beat up a bunch of actual people. So Kitty Pryde was basically like, you know what, our bad, and we're gonna go ahead and go through the process for it. But they're in jail, and a big alien from the negative zone is coming and invading Earth, so we'll see if they get out in time to solve it.
Do we ever get aliens from the positive zone?
That's a good question.
Aliens from the positive zone, yes.
That's the Star Trek universe, so
Yeah.
no.
Also kind of ending in April is one of my favorite X-Men books in the last few months has been Kelly Thompson's Rogue and Gambit. So this is essentially, I think, a love story to everybody in the 90s that loved the X-Men back then. It's just a limited run. There's only 5 books, so number 4 is coming out in April. Number 5 will come out in May, just wrapping up that storyline. Rogue and Gambit are in couples retreat therapy because Kitty Pryde says, hey, something fishy's going around here, so you guys should go on a couples retreat. And it's actually pretty adorable to see them trying to come back together, reliving some of the things. Sparky!
Calm yourself.
Calm yourself. If you love Rogue and Gambit, if you love 90s X-Men, make sure you pick up Rogue and Gambit. This one's a hot book, though. You're not finding it in a lot of local comic book stores, so you may want to wait for the trade paperback to come out or buy them digitally and pick that up. Because, yeah, I haven't seen, they've been flying off the shelves.
I just get a little excited about Rogue.
I would too. It's spicy. There's a lot of hot scenes in this. Kelly Thompson does not hold back. She definitely wants you to be in love with these characters again and show that these characters still love each other and there's still a lot there. Also on the X-Men side, you still have Astonishing XMen that's going on. I think there's only a few more issues left. Charles Soule, again, has been pretty solid with the X-Men titles. I love the Astonishing X-Men because Psylocke is basically the main character in this series, in this run. Proteus is back, which is pretty disastrous, so we'll see how this team of X-Men. It's Psylocke. You have a new person called, I think they called him X, but it's Professor Xavier in Phantom X's body. It's kind of strange. Archangel, I think Rogue and Gambit, Mystique, Logan, because Logan's in every book, and Bishop. So if you haven't seen Bishop in a while, he's in this comic. That's all I have for Marvel Comics. All right, this is Leon Scorpius. Talk to you guys next time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to watch more from us, click on one of the thumbnails. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep up to date with our latest shenanigans. Be sure to click the bell for notifications, and check out the description below for a link to our Patreon page. See you next time!